He's from right here in Alaska, so there's an Alaska connection when it comes to the overall big central movement. And it started in Wasilla in his mom's kitchen, am I right?
Off the couch.
So it kind of sprang from there. Now there's chapters in from like Ireland, Australia, Canada, all 50 states. I think California's got sub-chapters now. And there's at least 500,000 people following the main page. And here in Alaska, at least since I've been here, it's grown from like 500 to about 2,600 is where we're about at right now.
Interesting enough too, Steve here was at the very beginning.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, he was up here in Fairbanks, and he was an editor on the main page when it was what, like 1,000, 2,000 people.
So we do have some roots here, and it's great to see familiar faces too. You know, with Renee and Jennifer here, I know you guys are all over the page, and that's fantastic because what that does is it helps drive the message out. Because the more responses that there are within the page itself, the more it expands the reach. So if 5 people have seen one post, you know, that's it, that's all there is, and no one reacts to it, and it's dead in the water where it is. Whereas if there's something that we're able to post and people will react to it just by putting a like on it, or just saying this is awesome, you know, leaving a comment, or sharing a picture or a video or not, what that does is that the algorithms within Facebook says, all right, this is going to be something that's popular, we're going to expand it. And as more people react to it, the circle gets larger. And so, you know, and if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, doing what you guys do on there, you know, even if it ticks people off, if people respond to it and engage to it, it actually expands it. But I don't ask you to piss people off, but to engage. And I do, I'm pretty liberal with the comments that are on there. There's only been a few that I've actually had to kind of hide from everybody else, but Facebook will automatically hide certain comments if it doesn't follow Facebook guidelines. So if there's a lot of cussing going on with it, it gets automatically hidden. You know, so
It's actually not Facebook, it's our page settings.
the page settings, yes. So you have to keep that in mind. But the thing is what we do with our page is that as a nonprofit organization, what we do is that our primary purpose is to raise child custody awareness issues. We're not counselors, we're not lawyers. You know, even though there might be some within the organization that are counselors and trained counselors and lawyers that are barred, we don't, as an organization, you know, let's self-identify that as that. Because what we get a lot of times when people ask us questions like, well, I need to do this, what do I do? You know, and what we have to do is throw the disclaimer out that we're not lawyers or counselors, but this is from experience, this is what we have learned.
I got a question because I'm just curious about something. Isn't Alaska predominantly 50-50?
It is, it allows 50-50. The laws here in Alaska, under the Alaska statutes, 25.24.060.
I know that one, yeah.
Yeah, it just stipulates that 50-50 or shared physical custody, as they call it, is authorized or allowed.
Oh, I see.
What makes us above the rest of this country, why we got B minus, is that we actually encourage and push for, it's supposed to be 50-50 in the interim.
Right.
So usually that carries on into.
It does.
Right. And so having that is pretty strong language for 50-50. So we're actually one of the states that is stronger.
B minus, therefore the B minus.
Yep.
Right now, compared to no other state, us, Minnesota, and Arizona were the 3 highest at a B minus.
And this might raise your ire here a little bit. It's a simple introduction for me, being around a while, and it translates to the work I've done most of my life.
Right.
You start out ground floor,
Yep.
and you work your way up, and there's all different kinds of descriptions. You know, the guy sweeping the floor is not going to build the barge floating in the town.
Right.
The guy sweeping the floor will learn from the people who built the barge. So something like this, and I say like this, loosely, father's rights. You got a father who's married in a good part of the community, maybe even a church deacon.
Yep.
And then he has a divorce. It starts as the starting point is he's highly respected. He's getting a divorce. He was married. That is completely different than some guy who's transient, drug problem,
Yep.
domestic violence, violence against children. It's one end to the other. So father's rights, its own thing, everybody's individual spot where they fall in will dictate what rights they're gonna get, almost assuredly. The guy on the bottom, he'll be lucky to see his kid every other weekend. That's just a fact.
Yep.
The guy on the top, as soon as he gets the highest paid attorney, he's gonna do real well because he's a church deacon and he was married. So those things in the father's rights movement are impossible for me to see it all play out for each father. Sometimes the rights movement could give a father false hope.
Yep.
Sometimes it does not. Sometimes it's there if he's suicidal. Sometimes there's a phone call there. If he doesn't know the right move, he can ask on the page.
Yep.
If he doesn't know that he's 19 years old, he's a father, he doesn't know that name on the birth certificate is not good if you're not married. He doesn't know that. And then the one fear that a lot of us have felt in here: will I ever quit? Will I quit on my kid if it gets bad? Cops are after me. I violated the restraining order. Am I ever gonna quit? Am I gonna just quit because I can't do it? Am I gonna die of a broken heart? Like, how can I do all this? That one fear there.
Yep.
And boy, that's a scary fear.
And it's based off of one decision, and that creates a ripple effect.
One decision.
Different
that's
decision that's
that.
made after that.
Yeah, but that fear, that fear will
I know.
and that fear that deep down inside, oh, wait a minute. How'd that sneak up here?
Yeah.
Would I ever quit? Would I give up? Would I capitulate? Would I be done? Would I be forced to quit? Am I gonna quit on my kid?
And you know what? And everybody's probably gone through all of that
It can happen to
too.
anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody.
It's interesting that you hear all the time, I never quit. In certain situations, everybody will.
But for us here at the Father's Rights Movement, though, I know you're very familiar with this, is that what we're trying to do is advocate for both parents to have 50-50, because research has shown that children benefit from having both parents involved in their lives. I mean, it's just hard to go around it. And if you want to dig up research that's counter to it, most of the time you can find that under any kind of bar association research that lawyers have done based off their advocacy in the courtroom, which in the courtroom and real life are two separate, totally different things. And so what I try to do here, at least in Alaska, is delineate the two. Yes, it is a social issue, it is also a legal issue. So if we approach it from those two things, and that brings apart the vision. Is to give the voice to the voiceless, to allow the children who really don't have much of a say, and even then with consent, they get a consent at a certain age in a certain state, they still need a voice. And a lot of times the non-custodial parent is also voiceless as well, because the deck is stacked against them. All you guys know this, the deck is stacked against you whenever you go through this process. Because let's face it, when you're in the beginning, when you start the process, you are really, and I fall into this too, because I thought the system was going to be fair. I thought they were going to adjudicate the process because it's the United States after all. The Statue of Liberty, the flag, the whole 9 yards. There's no way that what she says, she's going to get away with all that. And that I'll never be able to see my child ever again. No, there's no way. No judge will ever can see that because it's just morally wrong. You look at it as a moral wrong. But the problem is you go into it, you go through the whole process, you find out it's not what it is. The legal process and what morality is two totally different things. And so what lawmakers try to do is they try to make that a health or social issue, but a lot of times there's something behind it that counteracts that intuition that is, that transcends from moral issue to law and legalese. And there's lawyers that will take advantage of it, there's judges that will take advantage of it, there's state departments that will take advantage of it, and I'll explain that in a second. But the whole point is that the vision that I have for at least the Alaska chapter is to push for the legislative 50-50 and then promote good fatherhood. Because what happens is that a lot of times that 85% of the custody issues, the non-custodial parents are the fathers. And it's the father's rights issue. But we don't deny the mothers. We always help the mothers just the same because it can happen to them. And that's not fair either. Because that, like we said, 50-50 applies to both parents, mother and father. So with that, as long as we stay on message, it's kind of hard for opponents to sit there and say, hey, it's just us versus them type of mentality. That they're just trying to keep us from doing this or so they don't have to do that. So equality is still equality. It doesn't
Still want to pay
change.
child support.
That's the popular thing. Especially among the women's groups, like what happened in Florida with some of the newscasts I've seen down there when Governor Scott had to veto that bill down there for mature parenting. They were upset because they were saying that fathers just don't want to pay child support. And that can't be further from the truth. They want their time. But the thing is, you still end up paying child support with 50-50.
I found out that.
Yeah. And so that kind of destroys the whole argument. But the stereotypical look, the framing the social construct of how we view what a family unit is supposed to look like post-relationship, it is grown into this dynamic where you better follow along, otherwise you're going to get in trouble. And that's the deal. And this organization here, when Tom told me about this organization, I was actually pretty excited because I found out through another woman researching a candidate when it came to a midterm election. And sort of thinking like, wow, this woman is actually advocating for equal rights between mothers and fathers. This is a candidate I can get behind for the U.S. Senate because she has made a stand. And then I found out that there's going to be a rally. I show up at the rally, I talked to Tom, and then things went into motion from there. And so with that, and being a full-time student at UA, I'm able to do some research into this stuff, and man, this has enlightened my world. As far as what I see as far as caseloads coming in from Facebook Messenger, men and women are going through.
Who is that woman?
Well, were you talking about Molly or?
The one that connected you to the movement, connected you to me. You said that.
It was, she was running for the U.S. Senate in Alaska. Her name was C.N. Stevens on the Libertarian ticket. Because I was looking into father's rights, she was tagged into the Google search and popped up.
When you have a list of the things that the platform the candidates running on,
That was
how
probably-
high up is that issue?
It doesn't go very high in Alaska.
And that's tough because then it
Yeah.
doesn't get a lot of exposure.
Yeah, in fact, she's the only candidate running for any
It
office.
depends on what party you're in. The Libertarians definitely
Yeah.
are willing to make it an issue, or it's more of an issue to them than it has been any other party.
And I'm learning the
I
dynamics
didn't know that.
between the political parties and how they approach family law. Because it is, surprisingly, you would think it would be a bipartisan issue, but a lot of times it's not. And so that's one thing that's difficult to grasp, is that something that should be bipartisan is a partisan issue, and it mind boggles me because it seems like
Why? What do
different
you
issues.
understand? Why is it